My friends, I received my first wig. I'm so excited. It's a hot pink one. So when the moment comes, I am ready. I also ordered some others like in the rogue theme that I have going on for me. Today I wanted to have a rather, I was feeling a little self-conscious for this conversation, but I wanted to share it with you for the purpose of it, if it can help you, as you know. That's why I do everything here. So I've been having more authentic conversations with my son and sharing more of the emotions that I'm going through, because during the first cancer, I was still in that mode. I was trying to protect him, and I didn't let him see everything that was going on with me. So now I am showing him everything, the fear, the enthusiasm. Before I was only showing him the resiliency and but not maybe not the whole spectrum of what I'm experiencing. So this time, and we were sharing very authentically. And at one point, he says to me, because he lives far away, and he was saying that he feels so relaxed because my partner is very involved and very loving, and supporting, and so he feels more relaxed that he's there now that I'm about to embark in this ultra marathon of a challenge with 6 months of chemo starting from the 25th, right? So he says, I really feel relaxed that he's there and that he's such a great guy. And he says, Mom, like sometimes, I think, well, this guy, he's younger, and it seems that you have given him only problems because you already had one cancer and now there's another cancer. It's like the poor guy can't catch a break. And of course, in this moment, he is speaking about this fear, and of course that has also been my fear, right? Me coming from a big story of abandonment, because I grew up with my grandparents. My parents got divorced, and then they went on with their lives, and it doesn't matter how much healing you do. There's always that part of you that has that, well, they didn't fight for me. That was my story. And that sometimes can mess you up in terms of self-esteem and self-worth, and that is what I will be talking about here. So if, as you may know, when you are a child and there's something, either because you have emotionally immature or abusive parents, or they leave you, it's not that we stop loving them, it's that sometimes we stop loving ourselves because we think there is something wrong with us that made this to happen. So sometimes we carry this story, and it really messes up our relationships if we are not careful, if we're not aware. So I remember, so during my second divorce, there was one evening, I think it was the third or second evening, that I was at this friend's apartment where I have separated. And because I had a conversation where, I said, well, this what's going to happen. And I didn't maybe get the reaction, or I don't know. Anyway, to making it too complicated. So anyway, I find myself crying. I was like really sobbing. And the thing is, now I'm trained because of what I do helping other people, so I can catch myself of the thoughts that create emotions. And so I find myself really, really sobbing and thinking, nobody fights for me, because I had connected what was going on with my divorce with, the story of my parents leaving me and not, fighting to like keep me close, because they were, they lived in the same city, but, they didn't have the most active roles in my life. So somehow I was making what was happening in the present, I was making it about, my story, and I was giving it that meaning, and I was making it about myself, because the thought that was making me cry, I was crying my eyes out, was nobody fights for me. And if nobody fights for me, what does that mean? That I'm not enough, right? So it was that. So but the thing is, now I understand these things, and I was able to stop that, and I saw the thought, and then I was able to run the antivirus and say, well, this has nothing to do with me. He's not even taking care of himself. He's not even fighting for himself, right? He was on a path of not good things for him, and so anyway, this is what happens. And sometimes we have all these fears about people not being there for us, and this has been a fear of mine, because that's from where I come from. But the thing is, with my new partner, well, it's not so new, it's almost 5 years, but and seeing this person so committed, even though in the face of incredible challenges, like right now, second cancer, and we went through. So my son says, well, what is stopping him from, like, saying, well, this woman has too many problems, so maybe I should find somebody easier, right? So that this is what my son says. Maybe what is stopping him from finding somebody, with less problems? And it was incredible in that moment, because I recognize that this has been also, my fear for the longest time. But it's so beautiful to see that, because this challenge is a joint challenge, because I have involved him in the process, and seeing him basically even raise his commitment. It's a beautiful thing to witness. And it reminds me of that, passage from the Little Prince. And it says, it's the time you spend on your rose that makes your rose so important. And if you remember the story, the rose was very capricious, a little rebellious. And I think the rest of the passage is that you become responsible forever for what you have tamed, and you're responsible for your rose. So I thought that was important, because sometimes we believe that we have to be in a certain way to be loved, and that we have to do. We believe that love is transactional. And I have healed a lot in this relationship, because when you are a person that you believe that the more you do, the more you're going to be loved, and that you are always trying to, be there for others and do things for other people because you think that's going to make them love you, you sometimes believe that love is transactional. The more I do, the more I will be loved. And that's not the truth. The truth, you have to be in your we're human beings, not human doings, right? So if I shine my light bright, if I'm just who I am, that's enough. So in this relationship, that's what I was doing. And even though there's been incredible challenges, and now another one, to see a person that when you are totally weak and you cannot do anything, love you even more, it's really beautiful to witness and to experience. And of course, I know that also in your life, there's been people that didn't fight for you, or betrayed you, or treat you badly, or didn't appreciate you. That's been my case, and I know it's been your case too. But we have to remember that your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth, right? That was from Zig Ziglar. And you have heard this before. I removed them from your life because they were not assigned to your destiny. And I have flourished and progressed so much with my partner because of how he's been and how he sees me, and because I can be vulnerable and authentic and I can be myself. It's just so beautiful. But also because I have learned to involve him in the process. Before, because I wanted to protect maybe people, I didn't share much of what I was going through. And I have learned to just be myself. And the more I'm myself, the more loved I am. And that's beautiful. And I learned from Brendon Burchard that in leadership, people support what they help create. And when you involve people and enroll them, and they have ideas in this challenge, then that becomes also their challenge. People support what they help create, right? So this is not just my challenge. This has become a joint challenge. And we have to remember that sometimes, beautiful people, they don't just happen. And what I guess I'm trying to say is that you don't have to have everything perfectly and be perfect to be loved. It's like sometimes love comes as the love for the little prince for the rose. Love comes because you have to work for it, right? Because you are investing, because you raise your commitment. That's when love also grows, because you're really emotionally invested, right? Not because it's easy. So don't think that you are not enough because maybe there's something difficult about you, or you have some sort of disability or illness, or woof, I'm getting emotional. So I hope that serves you today, that your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth, and that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be the most authentic version of you, and trust that that's enough. And if you just keep doing that and involving and letting people see you in all your imperfect glory, that's when you know those are your people. So I'm gonna let you go, because now I don't I had something else to say, but I just gotta thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my journey. And don't forget that you are enough.